go.
I've run out of coffee already.
Right, ready. Hello, our fellow loyal subscriber, and welcome back to Band for Life, the one-stop shop for band-related things, stories from bands, which is our main thing. We get bands on, they tell us juicy stories of the music scene, from underground gigs, things that went really well, things that went really bad. Check out our other videos. I'm Grainger. This is
Pete. That wasn't very energetic, was it?
It could have done with a little bit more energy. Just try again.
It's been
And here we have
game. Pete.
better 7 out of 10. So we are about to get on our band of the evening. If you are listening in the evening, of course, with the power of YouTube, you can listen anytime you want, maybe all the time. Tonight we've got on M60, an indie rock band formed from a couple of towns across Manchester, so they're local for us. We are pretty much Stockport based, so they're pretty local. Looks like they started when they were in school, I think, although I might let them go into that a little bit. And they started in 2015. Launched in 2016, so they've been going for about 5 or 6 years. They've had a couple of tracks out on Spotify. Debut single was called Honey. And then in 2018, they also released I Don't Mind. They've got videos out on YouTube. They've got a Facebook page. They're getting 21,000 listens a month on Spotify. And on top of all of that, one of the members is actually mine and Pete's ex-guitarist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is fun, which is Sam. I'm sure we'll end up mentioning it. But we've got, in a minute, we're going to get him on. We've got Matthew Morton, who vocals guitar. Bradley Smith is the drummer. Charlie Howarth, is on bass. And Sam Mansfield is on guitar. So
we haven't got them all coming on now. We've only got to select a few. Let's get them in.
Okay.
This week, we've got M60 on. We've got Brad, the drummer, Matt, the frontman and guitarist, and Sam, the guitarist. You got your wave in the right place this time, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Well done.
How you doing,
not
guys?
the bass players that can't do it right.
Welcome.
Nice to be here.
Yeah, guys.
Yeah. So you guys,
go on, Grainger.
one of the things I was wondering actually is because I know Sam lives near the studio that 3 Days used to practice at. That's why we used to practice there. And I think some of your songs were recorded there. What's it called now? Was it Milltown or something?
Milltown.
Because I've not been in years. But on your Spotify, I've listened to a couple of your tracks. My personal favourite is actually probably the most obvious one, which is I Don't Mind. Which has got the most, I think, has got the most views as well.
Yeah.
I mean, you're doing pretty well on Spotify. How many views have you got on? I think that alone. I'd have to double check.
It's nearing 900k now, I think.
That's almost 1 million listens, which is...
It's nuts though, because it accounts to nothing. Imagine like back in the day, you said, I've had 1 million listens on one of my tracks. You'd be like, right, you're rich. But it's like...
It's because it's just Sam. He's left his phone on overnight. Just on repeat. That's all it is.
Don't even have Spotify, mate. I'm all one listener on Apple Music.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm the only one in most of my bands that's on Apple Music.
The
They pay the artist better.
They do, to be fair, but Spotify's so much better for the listener.
Yeah, Spotify is better.
Yeah.
I'd prefer Spotify. Did you actually record some of the songs in Milltown then? Or is that just where you practice?
Since Sam, we've recorded all of them there.
I mean, that's 3 or 4, isn't it?
3. We recorded all of the full tracks. The acoustic tracks weren't done back.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
So 3 full tracks, and then we've got another 2 that are in the mix at the moment.
Cool.
How have you recorded? Did you record kind of in between lockdowns, or? Oh, well, technically you're a working band actually. So actually, I think you're allowed to. So Pete's,
Sam and I were talking about this today. I have a studio that's still open for semi-pro bands. So if you can prove to him that you get paid,
then yeah,
he'll open for you because you are working.
We recorded Ashtray and the other 2 just before.
Ashtray was a while ago now, wasn't it?
Third lockdown.
When did we do it?
Recorded it in between lockdowns anyway, and it just So we got lucky now. It's just been in the mix since. But
Yeah. I've been dying to get. There's a tune that's going to be coming out. I can say the name because it don't matter. We're not a big band. It's going to be called Backseat, and I've been dying to get that back. But it's nuts really, because we recorded 3 there in the in between of lockdowns, and of all the 3, I thought Ashtray was going to do the shittest, and by the standards, it's kind of trying to settle above Honey, which is like very good, because I don't mind's untouchable at the minute. I don't know what to write to get to that point, but it's sitting above Honey, and I thought, to be honest, it was going to be lower than all our top 5 tunes, but it's doing all right so far.
Here's a question for you then. Do you feel like there's pressure on when you come to write and you're trying to beat I Don't Mind? Do you feel like you can't make a subpar track, or are you just doing it for you guys and for the love of it?
For a while, I felt like everything I needed to write needed to be as good as I Don't Mind, but it's not the case. It's more that you don't know how anything's going to relate with the public. I could write the shittest I believe the shittest track ever, and the public will love it, and it's like there's no way to predict what's going to, like when we brought I Don't Mind out, there's no way, if you'd have told me it was ever going to hit even anywhere near 1 million, I'd have said yeah. But the fact it's getting there is like nuts to me.
It's pretty mind-blowing that as well, isn't it? Like
a
million. Like if you imagine 1 million people in one place.
See, I did it once. I googled 1 million people, and I got a picture of it, and I thought, wow, that's nuts. But
you put all our listeners from 2020, didn't you?
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, you were there.
Fit all of our listeners in.
Nice.
And it's really bizarre to see.
Yeah.
So you could pack out the MEN now then.
Oh yeah.
If everyone bought a ticket.
Can't even sell out the local fucking pub.
Oh, fuck the MEN. These lads need stadiums now, right? This isn't arenas. No.
We write for the stadiums, but we play to bumming 2 people in the audience.
We're at about 22,000 monthly listeners at the moment on Spotify.
Yeah, check that. It's about 21, 22.
At the moment, it's just flickering around every day because of Ashtray coming out and because of the dip at Christmas as well. But then, 18 months ago, we were playing some gigs with like 5 people there. And we had 16,000 monthlies.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a rite of passage.
Have you noticed over coronavirus if your numbers have gone up? With more people just chilling at home doing...
I mean, last year was much bigger than the year before.
Yeah. But I don't...
Of that, or...
I don't know if it's like... Because I think a lot of people, you listen while you commute, don't you? And even if a shit song comes on your playlist, you let it run. Just because you're not even thinking about it. So I think when people are actually working, the streams go up. But I've no proof of that. That's just a thought.
Yeah, I know what you
makes
mean.
Sense,
like, people might just stick it on the playlist and then commutes definitely. Like that's when most people listen to. Well, I don't know about the fact of it, but I normally would listen on the way and on the way back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so one of the things then, if you've been, because you've got these songs on Spotify, you've only been going for 5 years, 6 years, 5 or 6 years. You've done really well in that amount of time to get that amount of views. How many gigs do you reckon you've played in the last 5 years? And have you been doing more and more year on year?
Apart from last year.
Apart from last year.
We started to go the opposite way because we're playing in Manchester every 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And it meant the crowds were dropping. And then we gave it sort of 3 months. And then suddenly there was a couple of hundred turned up to Off the Square, which was 2 weeks before we got locked down.
Yeah. I mean, I think the major issue we had is that we shouldn't have gigged so much in Manchester and we should have branched out, but it's not as easy as that. I've contacted 10, 15 venues in London and they don't want to reply, and it's like, why?
I've heard that London's difficult to break into.
Yeah.
Not from London.
And
but
it's
we're
like,
getting sort of 2,000 monthly listeners just from the London area.
Yeah.
I tell them that and they're still just not interested at all.
No, and even if they just messaged back and said no, it'd be so much easier. So then we could just do something else, go near London and be like, well, London won't play us, but come here.
Yeah.
One of the things that that it was actually spoken about on the channel with a guy we got in, a promoter actually, and a really good promoter. Like he doesn't deal with any pay to play. He always pays the band, and he gets good crowds in because he just gets good bands on, so people follow like his nights. And
he's got a following, hasn't he? Rather than the fans that he brings in.
You know that and if he gets a band in, if he gets a band in that.
We played at the Blossoms for him actually.
Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah, Blossoms is good. I don't think he does. I don't know if he does Blossoms anymore. He might still do, but it's a nice tight venue. I like Blossoms because it's a small venue, so when it looks packed, when it's sometimes just like not that many people in there.
It's got like 6 people in there. It looks full.
Yeah, I know. And he recommended doing like outskirts gigs, like country. Well, like kind of. It was. What was he saying? He was saying like doing
sides. He was like hit suburbs rather than
like towns and stuff.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
So maybe
he does city gigs now as well. So
yeah, he said he picked up a night. He said he picked up a slot at Jimmy's, or it might have been Jimmy's, that he was going to do every 2 weekly or something.
I think that was a Thursday or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Jimmy's is gone as well now.
Yeah, Jimmy's has moved to what? Ancoats, is it?
Oh man.
We were supposed to play there, weren't we, the day after it closed down?
Yeah.
That's
I was booked to play Jimmy as well.
I saw it on Facebook, it was gone. We're like, oh, okay, we won't go to that.
Yeah.
Well, on gigs then, it seems to speaking about gigs, it's a nice progression. Have you got like a kind of favourite gig in mind or a best gig? And it can be whatever reason you want. Some people go with like, oh, it was the feeling of it. Some people go with, oh, it was the amount of people that were there. Some people go, it was just good because I just felt like it was. And it might be different for all of you. I don't know. It might be the same.
I feel like Off the Square felt like a real breakthrough because at that point we just dropped the 2 acoustic tracks and we were playing 18, and an acoustic track, you listen to it once, you do one, it was decent, but people were singing back 18, and I thought, how if there's barely anyone listening to it, there's people that are that into it to know the lyrics and sing it back. And it was the fact that we packed out the venue, we'd more or less sold it out, and that felt like a real like I don't know, it was a shock really, because we were used to playing to like 30 people and then like half of that's your family, and it was like a room full of people that I didn't know that were singing songs that I'd written that I thought only I knew the lyrics to.
That's the dream, that. That's what you do it for.
Yeah. When they were singing 18 back to me, it felt good. It definitely felt good.
Because it wasn't really even out yet, was it?
No, it wasn't.
The version of 18 wasn't out.
No, it's a full band version out now.
The acoustic version had come out, but even now, that's hardly had any listens. So that's.
I mean, we all thought really that 18 would do pretty well on Spotify, and it's kind of the past couple of years, it's the worst of them, and it's like you just can't predict what's going to do well and what isn't.
No.
What about you two? Same or different ones?
Well, I think for me, Off the Square was like probably one of, like Matt says, it was a bit of a breakthrough, and then since lockdown, I feel like a bit of our momentum's come from that gig, because like Matt's saying, that was probably the first gig we had people where they were singing the lyrics back to us and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I'd probably say one of the Ruby Lounge gigs, just because of how good of a venue it was.
Ruby Lounge was sick.
Yeah, Ruby Lounge is a good venue.
Have you played the Ruby Lounge at all?
I've seen bands play there. I've never played it.
I think I have I did it with Box Bombs, actually. I did it with one of my old, not even my current band, not even 3 days. Another band I was in, we did Ruby Lounge. And it was good. It was nice. Good venue.
Yeah. It's a sick venue, and the guy that owned it, he was a proper sound guy. Like,
he was, yeah.
I mean, I probably shouldn't say this. He shouldn't have been letting us play because we weren't 18. But it's like it was just sound like it was every time you play. It was 50-50 cut. It was whatever you sell, you get half of it, which is good for.
Yeah,
it's good for ticket.
The way they treated us as well, wasn't it? They treated us like we were something for the first time. Like, I don't think anybody else has actually treated us like that. Like, we go into the green room and we had the poster up when we were headlining up there, and then the fridge would be stacked full of drinks and all that for us. It was just like proper
He was a
nice
sound
treatment.
guy.
It is nice. What happened to Ruby?
Was he the same guy who had the loose cannon?
Yeah, it was loose cannon.
Yeah.
But Ruby Lounge shut because they wanted to either knock it down or turn it into offices, because it was one of the few buildings in Manchester that needed renovation. So yeah, but it was a sick venue.
They used to do. They used to have like. I know they had one night a month because somebody dragged me there once. They used to have like. But no, Pete. I think.
Oh, did they drag you there? Did they drag you there?
We both went one night. Do you remember they did the alternative stripper night?
Yeah, Cage Asylum.
Yeah,
that was a wicked few
Oh, I
nights.
bet you had to be dragged there, Grainger.
He was kicking
I was kicking and screaming, mate. I was kicking and you should have seen me. I was like, no, please, not another dance. No, the humanity. Actually, I didn't actually get a dance because it was 20 quid a dance, and I was like,
Jesus.
I was like 4 ciders, and I was like, I don't know, like I like cider, you know.
Didn't you take Claire?
What?
You took Claire, didn't you?
No.
I'm sure she came to one of them one night.
I think she did.
The only idiot to take his girlfriend.
She was just trying to keep an eye on her. I bet she was like, you don't mind if I come to you? And I'm like, not at all. Please. Let's go.
You guys had a tour booked last year, didn't you?
Still booked.
Oh, still booked.
That kind of came off the back of the Off the Square gig.
Yeah.
It was meant to be in December, and it's now June, I think.
That's longer than everything.
I mean, it's supposed to be June.
Yeah. Right.
Where were you going to end up on that then?
Heartbreakers in Southampton, Mother's Studio in Birmingham, and then Manchester Academy Free.
Oh, nice.
We'd have loved to put more like cities on it as well, but it's because it was a promoter thing. It's more a case of they kind of organise it for us, so you don't want to force onto them. Be like, yeah, can we do this, that, and that when they're already doing you the favour.
Well, I think if it does go ahead, we could we said we would look at maybe adding the other cities where people ask us to go the week after or something. So there's Glasgow, we get asked about pretty much every week by someone there.
Oh, nice.
Glasgow's a good one. I've done some recording in Glasgow before.
I mean, it's whether we did Glasgow and then tried to do a few cities on the way back down.
Yeah, it'd be nice too.
Just even if you jump on a couple of like local promoters.
Yeah.
Just random band nights.
It would be good. And like, you know, sometimes you can even just put, I mean, I've heard stories of, I don't know how easy it is nowadays or how easy it will be when it starts up again. But like, I know bands who've been out there and done it. And then if they had a gig cancelled, they were like, just put a post out, or they like met people like who were meant to be going to that gig. And then they were like, oh, we'll try and get you on somewhere else, like some pub, just anywhere, do you know?
Yeah.
And they would get pop at like people's houses and stuff and just party into the night and all that. It's a bit of a more kind of I don't know, a bit more of like a dangerous way of doing it, because you might end up with like no gigs or whatever. But it worked out for them. It was when Chris was in Stomping Ground, but years ago.
Oh, they did stupid shit all the time.
Yeah, they used to just go around and they'd like just gig and end up staying at places, have people's houses, and then gig somewhere else the next day. And yeah, so yeah. Sam, what was your favourite gig, by the way? I think we moved on just before I got to ask you.
Yeah, I'd say probably the Off the Square one for sort of how busy it was. But other than that, maybe Night and Day was good earlier in the year as well. So again, it was probably the second busiest one we did last year.
I don't even remember that gig.
And they sort of they gave us about 50 minutes as well, which it didn't feel like we were just rushing. And
yeah, maybe I do remember.
Yeah, it's nice when you get a bit more time. So, my experience of gigging in Manchester is fairly renowned for pay to play. And we've never been in a band, or I've never been in a band that's had kind of any sort of leverage to get around it. It's either shut up, pay to play, or you're not playing.
We've not done that.
Have you guys managed to get around it?
We've not paid to play anywhere while in the band. We've had some really, really crap ticket deals where you bring people and you get a tenner.
Yeah.
I
Now
think
we're
we were
accepting ones where we get a good cut of the money as well.
Yeah.
I
So
think
none of them have been like,
as well.
is what?
I think that really comes down to the promoter. If a promoter wants us to sell tickets at 10 quid each and give us a quid of it, we just don't speak to them anymore with no interest.
yeah.
Yeah, no. Because, well, in my opinion, promoters like that should
It has
just
to be
be
cheap,
boycott.
well, so people want to actually.
Yeah. And you tried selling a ticket for a tenner when 2 weeks later you could have a gig that's only a fiver, then you're going to play the same
Yeah,
set.
the prices are nuts. Like, when you think you could pay a tenner for a band on Spotify that's doing 200,000 monthly listeners and you can pay a tenner for us.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like you to pick us, but I know I wouldn't. I'd pick the band.
We now
better band.
keep to like ideally sort of £5 or £6 a ticket max,
Yeah.
and we've got to get a decent cut of that, or else we just don't take the gig.
I think we got lucky with it as well, that a lot of venues like Night and Day and Jimmy's and places like that, because we'd played them and gone straight to the venue to get the gig, it was when they needed a band's fill in, they'd message us and be like, oh, do you want to do this night, or do you want to headline this night? So it kind of benefited us in that way.
Yeah, that's good, that.
Well, Night and Day
They take a stand.
brilliant, weren't they? Because we played there and we didn't even. They said, "Oh, come back and get the money sometime in the week." And because none of us are in the city, we didn't bother,
Yeah.
thinking it'd be like 20 quid or something, just based on the gigs we've been playing earlier that year. And then the message just saying, it was like 2 months streaming money
Yeah.
and the bar for us. Brilliant.
Nice.
That is
Nice.
nice. That is nice.
And they could have very easily just kept quiet on that as well. We were just
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was offered a gig talking about London. Actually, I just remembered something. I was trying to get my band. It may have even been 3 days. It may have been my current band. I don't know. It was years ago. I tried to get us on in London, and I contacted a promoter who had a band on. I can't remember the name of the band. And it was at a relatively decent venue. And I remember it was all like, we need a band for a gig. But it was in like 3 days' time. And I remember him messaging back saying, yeah, no worries, you got the gig, no problem. It's going to be 300 quid. But when you sell your 30 tickets, like anything after that, you make. And I was like, so it was full on pay to play. It was like, yeah, but if you, so then he was like, well, if you sell 15, that'll cover it. If you can bring 15 people from Stockport to London. And I was like, we haven't really got a following in London right now. Like, so if you've got a following in London or whatever, then maybe. But even then, you're still paying £150 to play at a gig. And
Oh, it's criminal, isn't it? Because you pay your 150 quid or whatever it is to play. Then you got to pay to get there, pay to get home. You got to pay for all the rehearsal time beforehand. You got to pay for all your instruments and all the upkeep on that.
Yeah, it's borderline impossible to branch out from your own city. Like,
That spends nearly £5 a year on strings alone.
oh no, this fucking guitar over here, you see it? Like, it's a state. Every single rehearsal, every single gig, a string is gone.
Sam, you need to get your leveling files on the.
It's not that. It
on
comes
that.
up on the bridge.
He's had it several times, and it's just fucking endless string snapping.
It's always like the wound strings as well that go. It's
What bridge has it got on it? Has it got the 6 saddles or has it got the compensated?
6 saddles.
Swap it for a compensated and see what happens.
I think if you just change the strings more than every 2 years.
No. That involves doing something. I bought a guitar now.
It can't be as bad as Grainger, who friggin' used to play gigs with only 4 or 5 strings on his guitar.
Sometimes I didn't need that string. Like, I could just play the bit and play higher up. And when I moved on to bass, I mean, restringing a bass is like the cost of a small island. Like, it's right then. What about, we've done some good gigs, and what sound like really good gigs as well, actually. And it's really nice to be appreciated. I get the whole, you got a crate full of beer and you paid a decent amount of money. It's fucking mint. What about shockers? Either before you're going on, before you're going off, or something on stage just went shit. Like, I don't know if you get the words.
I'm going to start us off, and I'm going to start us off because this was pre-Sam. But we did a gig in a pub in Altrincham. They messaged us. They offered us. It was something like 200 odd quid to do. They said they were very brief about it. They said, "Oh, come and do a set. We'll give you 200 quid." So this pub on a Friday night, it must get about 10 people in it. We brought in excess of 100 people in.
Nice.
But yeah, this is what we're thinking. We're gigging. The gig's mint. One of the best gigs we were doing at that point. And then second to last track, all the electrics cut. And then the electrics cut. They came back on, we did the final track. And then we started packing up because they said, after we'd done, we started packing up because they said, yeah, do a set. And then they said, what you doing? You're doing another set in 20 minutes. And I was like, hang on, no, we're not. You didn't ask us to do another set. I mean, we can do another set if you want, but it'll be the same set. So then after that, they said, oh, no, you're out of order. First, you cut the power, you cut the lights. Yeah, we cut the lights and the power.
Yeah, you cut the lights.
Yeah. While I'm playing and singing, I've got a spare hand somewhere. And then following on from that big argument, they said, oh, no, we're only giving you 50 quid. You've not done anything. Bear in mind, we brought 100 people in. The bartender that was 6 foot odd offered to batter me, and I said, nah, you're all right. It was a calamity of a night. And I'm going to name drop them. It was Old Market Tavern in Altrincham. So if any fans out there get offered a gig at Old Market Tavern in Altrincham, do not do it.
Old Market Tavern.
Did they think you were a cover band or something?
I don't know what they thought.
I don't know. We did a couple of covers, didn't we, though? So
if we'd have brought 10 people in and then said, well, yeah, we're not doing another set, but it's the fact we offered the next set, and then they just turned on us, and then the bartender got all lippy, and he was big and he was massive and thought he was great. And I thought, well, I'm not going to even bother. See you later. It was just...
What the fuck? Wait a minute. Because the thing is, right, the whole point in pubs, especially pubs and bars and venues and all that, getting bands in is they pay a band X amount, and the idea is they bring people to come and watch, or people come in and watch them, and then they make money on the bar. So like exactly. if they pay a band 200 quid and they make say 800, they've made 600 quid profit. That's good.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
100 people in a pub, that's 2 or 3 pints minimum. Quid, yeah, probably thousands. I don't know for sure.
And then there were, word gets around Altrincham, you won't gig here again. No, don't you worry. I think we'll pass on gigging.
You're all right, mate.
You're being battered as well. What happened in the end then? Did you just take the 50 quid and run?
I don't even think we got the 50 quid in the end.
The thing is we were trying to pack the gear down, weren't we, while all this shit was happening? So, we're arguing with him. I'm screaming at the sound engineer because it's blatantly him that's cut the fucking power off.
Yeah.
So then Matt starts telling me to calm down and that. So then we're getting the gear together, and then the guy comes steaming from behind the bar charging at Matt Dunny, and he was fucking massive. He must have been 7 foot or something.
Yeah, he was big. I mean, big respect to the people that were watching us, the family, friends, whatever they were, because they were having a go at everyone at the bar as well, because after about 5 minutes word got round that they were being cunts. And respect to them. Family friend, he was having a shout at the guy that was trying to offer me out for a fight, as you do. But that was worse for me. I'll let them
just pick you, because you're being the front man. You're the target. You
get the brunt of everything.
You're the poster boy. You know what I mean? It's
I'm 5'7". I was a bit chubby at the time. I'm no target. You just batter me.
Oh dear, man, that does sound pretty bad. It sounds like it could have been a midnight as well. The thing is, it sounds like there was just a communication breakdown between them, and they didn't know that you were that you were only doing one set, and that you weren't a covers band. I'm wondering what they expected. It's really
on
weird.
Top of that, the woman that gave us the gig messaged me the day after like a blooming mother, patronising me, like, I heard that you were really awful last night. You were really nasty to our staff, and you can't be doing that. And I thought, what?
Should we pop down and ask for the 50 quid?
Yeah. I mean, we left about 15 bad reviews on the Facebook page, and then they shut the Facebook page down.
Shut the Facebook page down.
I know.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I mean, Brad's gone, but what was worse for you, Sam? Because I can imagine you've got an idea of one.
There was that one at the venue that I can't even remember its name, where we literally played in front of maybe 6 people who'd come in, who we'd given lifts there. In the Northern Quarter. I'd probably have to say the one that didn't happen, which was, I won't name the promoter, but a well-known promoter in Manchester. It wasn't their fault, it was their rep who'd taken the gig. Right. They booked us, and about maybe half an hour before we were meant to be there, rings us up and says, what time are you going to be here with the drum kit?
Oh, God, yeah.
We were supporting, and so we're not bringing the drum kit. And Brad's drum kit's in his loft, and only 2 of us drive, so I would have had to have got into Wythenshawe and then into Manchester.
Right.
So I told him we couldn't do it. And then he rang me up 20 minutes later, screaming down the phone about how we needed to get our heads together. And
oh, yeah.
He says, you'll have to come and play an acoustic set. But I didn't even own an acoustic guitar at the time. So we just said, well, we're not doing it. And I think that was one where they tried to make us sell tickets at about £12 each. So we had to joke. Anyway, it was just there. They had a touring band coming in. And that's why they wanted us there, just to supply the kits. So we thought, well, good luck.
But touring...
What kind of touring band doesn't tour with a kit?
I've supported touring band, unsigned touring bands or independent unsigned touring bands who don't have a kit because they travel light. I do get it. Most touring bands that I've played with do have a kit.
But if I'm honest, if they said to us a week before, or even just when we accepted the gig, by the way, we need you to bring the kit, fine.
Yeah.
An hour before.
You can organise it then, can't you?
An hour before, you're already on your way into town because traffic's bad at rush hour.
Yeah, it's nasty.
Yeah.
Or you've already picked all your gear up from the studio or wherever it's stored. Exactly. You can't do that.
No. Oh, yeah, it wasn't being awkward. It was just we couldn't do it. But, he rang us up telling me that we'd never play for this promoter again. And basically, it was pretty much between screaming and crying down the phone. But then the promoter, to be fair, did speak to us after and apologise for it. So that's why I weren't named them.
Yeah, but even so.
It wasn't the promoter, it was just their rep who was.
Right.
We did do a gig in Sheffield, which is not bad but interesting. The gig was good, but about halfway through the gig, a couple of lads come into the bar, West Street Live it was.
Oh, West Street! I know West Street Live.
A couple of lads come in, they're like, oh yeah, these are a decent band. Guy gets to the front, pants are half down, cocked in his hand, and he's just dancing at the front. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Then immediately after doing the helicopter at the front, he walks up with his hand out trying to shake
my hand. I thought, are you joking?
That's amazing.
I mean, he was a lovely lad, but that's a bit.
Oh, class.
I think we got the name of this one for this week.
The thing is, we've had some weird. That's a good one. The thing is, West Street Live, it's been mentioned before because it's a very popular venue for unsigned bands in Sheffield. It's a good venue. And they're often quite accommodating to bands from out the area. I've played there. Almost every band we've had on, I think, has played there. Not every band we've had on, but a fair few of them. And you're quite close to the. It's not really a stage, is there? You're kind of just there. It's.
You're in the spot,
I imagine some of the sweat flicked onto Matt. If I'm honest.
They can get right. You know when they stand right to the mic stand. That's what it's like, Pete. If you know played there.
The worst bit is nobody even recognised that he'd there with his cock out. Not a useful person.
There was a bloke in sort of his 50s at the side of the stage filming us. He sent us the videos afterwards. I thought, he must have got that.
He must have.
What the hell? Just stood there with it. Oh my God. Obviously, you're at the front as well. You're literally
Yeah, I can't miss it. I'm looking at the crowd. I can't miss it.
You say they're quite accommodating, that venue, but I was parked at the front door and they wouldn't open the front door for me to bring my amp in.
Oh,
Sam wasn't happy. No, he was excited about it.
It was rather than walk 10 yards to the stage with my amp, you had to walk right round past a few more buildings behind the venue and then up some steep stairs.
This is when he had his massive amp as well, not his blooming.
Yeah, it was a full stack.
Oh, when you had your silly.
He was like, we need to sound check. I was like, well, then you need to open the door, and just sat there with him.
Oh, no. I must have
the door's not even open yet.
Which way I went in.
Was that my 412 that you had then?
No, it was a 212.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah, but it was unnecessary. They were just.
No, they could have just opened the door, locked it again.
So it was just a really awkward standoff between.
Yeah.
You need us to sound check. I need you to let me in. But it was back when it was properly storming. Like we almost.
Oh yeah, it was. We almost didn't go because the weather was.
It was a death trap walking up these stairs with her.
It can be nice. Hey, you're back, man. We're just talking about. We're just talking about some of the worst gigs that you guys have had. Some of the shockers.
Yeah. Talking about the infamous cockswinger.
Oh yes.
That's the name of the video now.
The infamous cockswinger.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one.
What about yourself? Have you got like an in particular bad gig for any particular reason, or any crazy shit that's happened like on stage, after stage?
Did you cover Northern Live NQ, Matt?
I've not, but I thought you would mention Northern Live. Yeah, go on.
But anyway, so we were in this venue and it's really small, and I can't remember what time we were supposed to play at. I think it was probably around something like 6 or 7 maybe. And this was when we'd first started in the band, so we were just taking any gigs really, weren't we? And we were probably around 15, 16 at the time. Not that he probably would have knew the guy who'd put the gig on anyway. But he'd had us in there and he told us we wouldn't be on till 10. So we had to wait in town for ages. And I think it was a Thursday, wasn't it? And we had college the next day.
They had to prioritise another band and then they moved us back by 3 hours.
Yeah.
Correct.
Right.
And then, so we played the gig. And the gig was all right. We had a few like friends down there, and that but the sound engineer.
Play bright side.
Yeah, there was a guy typical at the front screaming in Matt's face because the stage was literally tiny and it wasn't elevated whatsoever. It was just like that crowd was in front of him, which is nice sometimes, but not when you've got a geezer who's screaming "Play bright side" in your face. And then, so we finished the gig. And then what did he say to you when he'd come up to you?
He comes over after we finished, because all the way through the gig he's trying to try and tell me to pull away from the mic, but I'm not pulling away from the mic because 1, they can't hear me. 2, it's so much easier to sing while I'm playing my guitar just without looking. Sometimes you get close to the mic. So he comes over at the end and he says, "You know what? You've made yourself sound fucking shit there." And I said, "What? Hang on." So I made myself sound shit because I was too close to the mic, and he said, "You were fucking shit, and I can't believe you've done that. We'll never have you here again." Oh, and I thought, what? It was another one that I said, well...
Like a night of hating being at this venue. He has the cheek to say to us, "We're never going to have you here on again," after fucking us about for like the entirety of the night, and then being as nice as he was to Matt after the gig.
I mean, and we're looking at, I wouldn't mind adult to adult. He's talking to like a 16, 17-year-old and just getting lippy with me for no reason because I've sang a bit close to the mic.
Like, you need to sing close to the mic live.
Exactly.
That's the whole point.
Exactly. And it ended in me saying, well, that's good then because we don't fucking want to play here again.
Good day to you, sir.
Yeah. Bye.
Good day to you, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, it's mint. I like it. I quite like the do or die attitude. It's good. It's good. You stick up for your laurels as well with ticket sales and stuff and people fucking around because bands get messed around. I won't lie. I've been a promoter as well. And also, like I was just did like a pub promotions, and sometimes promoters get bands drop out last minute. It happens, obviously, but bands also get tugged left and right, and some promoters and stuff and venue owners, they will just see what they can get out of you, like because some venue owners, they see paying for live music as a real chore. They feel like musicians want to do it for free, so they really begrudge handing over any cash. So it's really important to stick to, because they don't see the practice, the amount of money on the gear, the amount of time in your bedroom learning the songs, the amount of time.
They don't get it.
They don't get that.
But the thing is, as well,
it's still on some, by the way. This is on not every venue. I'm just saying there's a few.
Yeah, some do.
The thing is, it's because we love it so much that actually, I probably would go and play for free now, just to go and play.
Yeah, right now, I'd do anything to just go and play.
Like nowadays,
Like with whatever we get, like people messaging us on Facebook saying, I've got such and such a charity event, we've got no budget, and I'm like, yeah, let's go do it, and the rest of the guys are like, no.
Well, yeah, if we were asked to play a charity event, we wouldn't be then demanding half of their ticket money.
No,
It's
it's knowing where you're playing. Like if a festival's willing to put you on, you go for free. You pay them £20 if you need. If a festival wants to put you on, but if it's a venue in Manchester that you're bringing in more money in than they're paying, than they're going to usually get, then you'd expect at least fair payment for.
People said, come and support this big, this well-known band, even semi-big band, but we can't pay you. We take that.
Yeah.
But it's just if we're going to be the ones bringing people in.
Yeah.
Then
if you are the big band,
we've got to get some of the money for doing it as well. It's not.
Yeah, of course.
It's got to at least pay for us to get in park, have a couple of drinks and something.
Yeah, like a parking in the town centre. You're looking at a tenner for the night, and then you're looking at a tenner in fuel to get there. So that's £20 for 2 cars, maybe 3 cars. That's £60, and it's like it adds up. And and say, you're gigging, I don't know, set of strings go. Well, there you go. Put another £5 on that, and it's little things that add up that you don't expect to make profit from it. You just expect the bare minimum covered in order to play the gig.
Yeah, because actually, once you've counted up, like you've got to have like 2 guitars to go and gig as a guitarist. You've got your amp, you've got all that, you've got the amount that you've spent on rehearsals, which is usually like 35, 40, sometimes £50, depending on where you go, a time. Actually, you're well out of pocket already, even if they're paying you a good wage.
Yeah.
I think we're looking to be in a position where we don't actually have to put anything in. We don't make anything from the band, but the streaming pays for rehearsing and recording.
Yeah.
Now, I think that's
a nice position to be in.
That is good. That's really good.
It's took a hot minute
now
to get there.
Now, sort of 12 months into hardly being able to rehearse, we've built up a bit of a cushion so we can, when we're allowed back in the studio, we can record a big chunk of tracks and sort of go full on at it this time.
Yeah, well, then you got yourself in a nice little circle there, don't you? Because you go and record a load of tracks, you get more tracks out to stream, more streaming comes in. It's just a snowball now.
Yeah.
Just as long as you can keep that momentum going, you've got it licked.
You've got to wait for the right ears. It's like luck. It's like the other day on Ashtray. What's his name? Guy from Trainspotting.
I've seen that.
Hello.
Yeah. He's listening to Ashtray, and you never in a million years think it's reaching anyone of a status like that. And it's just about getting the right ears listening. You could be a god-awful band, but if one decent listener, like promoter, a record company, whatever, like you, that's it. It's a bit of luck that you need.
Well, it's the people who make the effort to make these playlists get a decent following and share new music on it. They're sort of
all the shares are so appreciated. Like even if a playlist got 5 listeners, that's so appreciated so much, because that's 5 more people that weren't listening to us before, and it's one of them that maybe you don't thank the people that listen enough, but you are thankful because they are the ones that push it out further. We can do all we can, but they push it further for us.
Yep. Do you guys
make the effort to buy merch as well, which we only started doing this year, but one t-shirt sales worth about 2,000 or 3,000 streams.
Yeah.
Because your sound is, I compared you to 3 bands in particular. Pete got it bob on with this as well. What was the one you said, Pete?
I've always said to Sam, you sound like Catfish.
Yeah, straight that.
Very, very
Can
much
you guess who my main inspiration is?
Never heard.
I've said that since Sam first sent me a message saying, I'm going to go join this band, check them out. I was like, that's Catfish.
First album Catfish for me is just an undefeated album. Like, of current indie, like, first album Catfish is, and even like, there's a tune, I've seen them 3 times live.
You say that like the second or third album on the same as the first though.
Nah, the first album's different. It's got the nostalgia of first listening to Catfish attached to it as well, and it's like the track they never play live. I've seen them 3 times. I've watched videos of them live. They never play it live, and it's Sidewinder, and it's my favourite tune And every time I go and see him, I beg they play it live. There's one clip on YouTube, and it's from when they were on the rise, when blooming Bondy wasn't even in the band. It was the old guitarist, and it's
nice. I remember when they came out on Radio X, like they were like up and coming, and then they just went boom. Like they just went mental.
Get yourself on a FIFA game, and you're done.
That was mega. I remember that. Like, yeah, that's mega.
I work out how you do recently.
Yeah,
that's good, man. Get on there, yeah.
Sorted. And more radio play.
Sorted. And then the channel, people, you see your fans will then come to our channel. We'll do it the other way around. And then I also got an Arctic Monkeys feel, but with the Manc twang rather than and that's the style of the vocal. But with the Manc twang rather than the Yorkshire twang, and also a little bit of the Cortinas feel with some of the guitarists and stuff as well. But yeah, Catfish definitely, definitely closest to Catfish.
Cortinas is a bizarre one because I don't listen to any of their music. You know the tracks, but I don't listen to them. They're not on my Spotify. But
they're ones that if a track comes on. If a track comes on by Cortinas, I'm like, oh yeah, I know this track. Who is it? It's Cortinas.
It's weird, isn't it? Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't listen to them religiously, to be fair. But yeah, cool. Shall we do some plugs before you guys go?
Yes.
I mean, have you got? Because we mentioned, like indie rock is pretty much. Would you say is your kind of genre?
Yeah.
Indie rock.
What it aims to be. Anyways. Indie rock, indie pop, more so rock than pop.
Yeah, definitely.
We've got Ashtray's just come out.
Yeah, go for it, guys. Hit your merch, your Spotify. I'm just gonna sit back and
just get on any of it. If anyone's listening, it's M60 official or official M60 on Twitter. Ashtray's just come out. It's doing well apparently. Begbie likes it from Trainspotting, so you should get on it. But yeah, even we've got 2 tracks ready to come out. They just need mixing, and they'll be out next couple of months. And then second half of the year, we're trying to do something semi-big. I'm not going to drop what we're going to do, but it's going to be better than what we've done. And yeah, there's a tour coming up. When we get out of lockdown, there's a tour in June, and you should buy tickets and you should come and watch us. Don't get your dick out.
Bid with you guys. Thanks for coming in, and nice to see you again, Sam.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much.
We will see you again soon, and we'll check out all your links again and stuff.
Lovely stuff. All the best. Thanks for having us.
All the best. Our paths will cross again.
Come on.
Yeah.
Have you suddenly become some sort of fucking middle-aged, what? Our paths will cross again.
Grainger the monk.
Yeah, he looks like one now, actually.
Take what I say is read, you know I wrote the book. On how to look like you don't give a fuck. Lately I've not had much luck. He's been waiting to uncheat his charm so he can get your sheets disarmed. They all say that we made too soon, but my eyes still follow you around the room. Doesn't really matter if in time we change. I'll still hate the records that you play, and you'll still be stalking my head all day.
That was nice getting them in, wasn't it?
Yeah, very nice. Haven't seen Sam for a long while.
I know. So Sam's our ex-guitarist, and it's good that he's doing well for himself. And I really like those lads. They seem really nice, and they seem like they might be going places. And they got all those views on Spotify, and it's awesome. I recommend you check them out. If you're into indie, if you're into sounds like Catfish and the Bottlemen, very much. Go check out. We'll pop all the links below. They're called M60. We have been Banned for Life. Remember, we have 2 videos out this week, or next week even. We'll have Tuesdays, which is our new Banned for a Bit, where we'll do an album review and we'll talk about some kind of a topic, music related. And Fridays, where we'll have the band interviews and the juicy stories. I think that's pretty much it.
Brilliant. Yeah, that's us done. We're out.
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you all next week. Have a great weekend.
See you all next week. Have a good weekend. Bye.
Bye.